Hey guys, so I know I haven't been putting up videos lately, but I have a reason for not putting them up a couple days ago is because I went to Macau, and Macau's a really cool place, especially since I went to a couple places where I saw they went to in Boys Over Flowers, the Korean version, and so I was going to all the places they went and reenacting half of the scenes, and I'll put up the videos later. I put up tons of videos and stuff, and I shot lots of videos and stuff. Cheesecake, uh, in a stick form, um, but I'll say, mm, mm. Boys Over Flowers. For any of you that don't know, Boys Over Flowers is uh, it was a manga, and it was written by somewhat, and then different countries like Taiwan, Japan, and Korea, they both adapted that manga. Yeah, spitting. They both adapted that manga, and they kind of made like a drama. Like in all, there are like three different dramas based on Boys of Flowers, the manga, and there's the Korean version, the Japanese version, and the Taiwanese version. The Taiwanese version is called Meteor Garden. Um, yeah, and so what it is that it's about this one girl, and she's very different from the rich people in her society. There are these four boys called F4 or Flower 4, and the F4, they rule the school. They're like really rich. You've got, I don't really know how to call them now because I just finished watching the Japanese version of Boys Over Flowers, and so there's like Tsukasa and Rui and Sho I don't remember his name, and Akira, and there's also the Korean version which I first watched. That was my first Korean drama, which is Gu Jin Pyo, Jifu, I forgot his name. I know the actor's name, Kim Bum, and then there's also the other guy who always speaks English. He's like, "Yo, what up, my home brother?" and stuff. Anyway, so it's all about them, and it's how the rich world and the like commoners world, they just mash together, and like the girl, in the Japanese her name is Tsukashi, and in the Korean her name is Gumjandi, and so the girl, the commoner girl, she agitates the leader of F4, and so she falls in love, or they both fall in love together, after actually the leader, I'm just gonna call him by the Korean name because I don't remember the Japanese name very well. Gu Junpyo, he finds that the commoner girl, Gumjandi, she's very similar to his sister, who is very like tomboy and very like, yeah, like me, except I won't find a rich guy to marry me, but whatever. Okay, anyway, so yeah, and it's all about how his mother, Gu Junpyo's mother, tries to interfere and stuff. I hate mothers in all Korean dramas. They're so witchy. Anyway, so she tries to split them up, and then there's also another side note, which is the second leader of F4, Jihu, let's call him by the Korean name, Jihu. He falls in love with the commoner girl Jandy, and so then they have like an affair, an eloping, but they don't sleep together. And yeah, so basically it's just like really big love triangle with this mother in the middle, and then you've got like two different worlds, like rich and the poor, or the rich and the common. And then you just sort of see how they go throughout their entire life. Okay, this video is getting really long, but oh well, you will listen to my talking. Anyway, so I just finished watching the Japanese version. I watched Hana Yori Dango, and then Hanayogi Dango 2, and then I just watched the movie, which was really confusing because I didn't understand it. I mean, not the language, I just didn't understand the plot. I mean, I knew that they were getting married and everything, but where did the tiara thing come from? Why were they stranded on an island? Who knows? Who really knows? Anyway, so I just finished watching that, and it was okay, I guess. It was really, um, the characters were really good, and the differences you can see between the Korean and the Japanese is that not the people, but the characters, how they acted, and how the scriptwriter like meant for the character to be, is that the main guy, Go Jun-pyo and Tsukasa, um, in the Japanese version, Tsukasa is really sensitive. He cries at pretty much everything, and he fights like a lot, and he's really short. But still, yeah, he's really sensitive. And in a couple episodes after the first one, it's like the third or the fourth, I forgot. When his friend Roy, he's leaving to follow the girl, the model, he starts crying and starts saying how much they're friends and stuff, and like he's really sensitive. But in like the Korean version, Gu Jun-pyo is really cold-hearted, and even after meeting Gun Jandi, he's really sort of off in his own world, unless it's with Gun Jandi. And also another thing is I found is not only is the Japanese version really sort of compressed. It's really short, and I have no. I maybe it's because the first season of Hana Yori Dango is only 9 episodes long, and then they have the second season, which is 11 episodes long. So that's pretty much only 20 episodes. But the Korean version is 26, and they go more into depth about everything. And the difference between the Korean and the Japanese now, the Boys of Flowers, is that there are some moments in the story in the Korean that are switched around in the Japanese. So, because I watched the Korean version first, right? So, you know how it's supposed to go, how there's supposed to be like a suicidal guy, and then he has a twin brother, and then like she saves the suicidal guy, or something like that. But then he dies anyway. I forgot. In the Japanese version, that comes like 5 episodes after, but it still comes out is that this guy, you don't know who he is. Like, because in the Korean version, you can see that Jandy tries to save the guy who's trying to jump off after getting a red card, but in the like the Japanese version, it just sort of comes in that there's this new character. Oh, he was also in Kimi Hana Hana Kimi, and I love that show. It's awesome. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, so Natsuki, I just call him Natsuki, but his name in the show is Junpei. Um, and he comes in, and you have no idea who he is. You just know that he's a crazy stalker, and it's very compressed. And the good thing about the Korean version that I like is that it's very. I know the time difference. Like the Japanese show was like done in 2005, whereas the Korean version was done in 2011. But the Korean version is much more technological. Like in the school, when Jandy, let's say the Korean version, when Jandy gets drugged by her so-called friend, and there are pictures of her sleeping with a guy. First of all, in the school, there was a TV, and it programmed this, and it like showed it, and it was like a school channel or whatever, but you could see it on the TV. Whereas in the Japanese version, there were just pictures of them, like print out pictures, and they were all like stacked, and you couldn't really. There was some tape to the table and stuff. So, also the red cards. I need to talk to you guys about the red cards. The red cards were like, um, sort of random, I guess. You would just see this person getting the red card in the Japanese version. You'd see the person getting the red card, and then some random guy who you don't even know where he comes from. He just like goes through the entire school, just like red card, and then who the red card is for. So yeah, and then okay, so then the guy has a red card, and then what you do is you see these people crowding around them. No chasing, no tripping up, no nothing. And you just see people pushing them around. Just like, that's not fun. Okay, that may be torture, that may be harmful, but that's not fun. And the Korean version, which is so much more energetic, I think, is that the Korean version, when she's riding her bike, they trip her up, and they set fires on her, and they Okay, so they threw eggs on her in both versions, but still. And I just kind of think that it lacked, and especially because in the Japanese version, the main two guy characters and the main girl, they were really good actors, and I think they could have done a lot more if they had like the more equipment and the time and everything else. And I think that you could have experienced and like dived in more if you had that time and had that effort put in, because they're really good actors. And I'm not just saying that, but they are really good actors. You can like seriously watch them and then you'd be like crying. Whereas like, okay, so the Korean actors were really good. I have to be a bit prejudiced and say that the Korean guys, except for Jung Hyo, the Korean guys were really hot. And the Korean guys, they like F4 except for Jumpyo. So I'm talking about the guy I don't remember, the pottery guy. Um, the other guy I don't remember who like has mobs and stuff. And then the Jihu, the violin guy. I found that Jihu is so much more sadder in the Japanese version. No wait, the Korean version. I'm getting confused. Okay, well, that's probably a sign that I should stop and upload this because it's 11 minutes. So if you guys want to hear me ranting more about Boys of Flowers, then check out the next part, which you will find somewhere over there. Yeah, or click on the videos button and then you can search around. I'm not putting an annotation, no. That's just lame. Okay, bye!